Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome to Rogers Center. Anthony Gose is who we returned to the Blue Jays. He just got back this afternoon. Brian Butterfield reminding him of the signs, talking about the possibility of his getting into a ball game. Anthony Gose and Chad Beck joined the team today, and they are the latest call-ups. There will be more as the health continues to improve. Here are the two call-ups that joined the team today. Anthony Gose in 28 games earlier this season hit a .183. Chad Beck pitched in 7 games for the Blue Jays earlier. Edwin Encarnacion had a terrific month of August. He was named the Blue Jays Player of the Month, and he was swinging a hot bat against all comers in the month of August.
Great numbers for the whole month of August for Encarnacion. He has been the most productive player, the most consistent player that the Blue Jays have had all season long. And what's impressive about him is all types of pitches, left-handed, right-hand, sinker ball, and fastball pitchers, everything that he has seen this year, he has hit, and he has hit hard. So congratulations to Edwin Encarnacion, named the Player of the Month.
Baltimore Orioles find themselves 1 game behind the New York Yankees in the AL East. Take a look at the lineup. Markakis, Hardy, McLeod. Nate McLeod moves into the 3rd spot. Adam Jones drops into the cleanoff spot. Matt Wieters, the switch hitter, and then Chris Davis. 7 home runs against the Blue Jays. He hit nearly 400. He did not play in yesterday's game. Mark Reynolds, Manny Machado, the rookie, and Robert Andino, the second baseman. They are set to take on Carlos Villanueva.
Villanueva snapped a 4-game losing streak his last time out with those 6 shutout innings versus the Rays. He struck out 7. He gave up just 5 hits. He has made 11 starts this year for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he has averaged right at 6 innings every time he has taken the mound. And here's something for a starting pitcher. You want to get a decision. And he has gotten the decision in 9 of those 11 starts for John Farrell's team this year.
Defensively, the infield is always on their toes. Villanueva throws a lot of strikes, so he's always going to have his defense engaged. Behind him in the outfield, it's Davis, Rasmus, and Sierra. Escobar and Johnson up the middle. Echeverria starting at 3rd base for the 16th time. Adam Lynn's at 1st base, and Jeff Mathis, the veteran, behind the plate.
You know, Escobar has been playing some solid defense for the Toronto Blue Jays lately at shortstop. Nothing flashy. That has gone away. He's just caught and made the routine play for Toronto.
We are set. Here's Nick Markakis, the leadoff batter. First pitch of the ball game is in there for his strength. Markakis kind of doubled in yesterday's game. He was 1 for 3 with a walk. Scored a run and drove in a run, and you see he's the only 300 hitter in their lineup.
A little sore after last night. First batter of the ball game, Jay Happ, hits him right in his bicep, and that's been a reoccurring theme, I think, here for Nick Markakis in this ballpark.
Been dinged up in this ballpark in the past. Fouls that ball off, including a broken hamate bone here earlier in the season. Swung at a pitch. He had snapped the hook of that hamate bone. Had that surgery and missed 6 weeks. His last 16 games, he's got a 400 average, and boy, has he clicked in the leadoff spot.
They've thrown him in there. Great batting average, great on-base percentage, really setting the table for the Orioles.
And Carlos Villanueva strikes him out. Pitch up and away, and Markakis goes down.
Assortment of pitches from Carlos Villanueva to pick up those strikeouts. That time he takes a little something off there to Markakis and messes up his time to pick up the game's first out.
Number 2 hitter is J.J. Hardy, the shortstop. Hardy has really found a home here in Baltimore. He was in Minneapolis for a year with the Twins, but the power has come back since he's joined this Orioles ball club.
A lot of that can be attributed to Jim Presley, the hitting coach for the Baltimore Orioles. Say, hey, show me that guy who was in Milwaukee, had all those 20 home run seasons. Yeah, he is really turning on the ball much better. Last year, 30 home runs for a shortstop.
Fouls it back. Villanueva quickly ahead, 1-2. Villanueva was dealing with a fever his last time out, and he came out of the game early because of that. It wasn't because of pitch count or anything else. John Farrell just felt like it was the best to get him out of the ball game. He left after 6 innings and 5 hits. Breaking ball popped into the seats.
We were wondering why he was coming out of that ball game. He was dealing after 6 innings. Worked really well with tonight's catcher Jeff Mathis in that game. And then we found out that he was feeling a little under the weather.
In fact, the next day they would send him back home. He didn't stay for the ball game. He was a little bit worse the following day. Right, 3 call. Boy, Villanueva off to a quick start. You got Markakis swinging, gets Hardy looking. 2 strikeouts.
That's how you pitch. Let's take a look at the scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. For Carlos Villanueva, he'll use that fastball. That time he threw it right by J.J. Hardy. He's unpredictable. He's got a better fastball this season, I think, and he maintains that velocity throughout the game. His walks per 9 innings have been cut in half since he has been moved into the starting rotation, and you can see how he dealt with J.J. Hardy, how unpredictable he can be.
So Hardy, second out of the inning, back-to-back strikeouts for Villanueva. Nate McLouth batting 3rd tonight. That's at a couple of pitches outside. His season with the Pirates and the Orioles, the Pirates let him go. The Orioles picked him up, and boy, he's been a nice addition to this ball club. More than anything, he stabilized the outfield defense, taking over in left field.
They have gone through many players in left field. He's a former center fielder who's giving them some good defense also.
This season, they've used 11 different starters in left field. There's too much change, but he has stabilized that position. 3-1. Buck Showalter believes now he has 3 Gold Glove outfielders with the addition of McLouth. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Line to right. Sierra comes in, jumps, and makes the catch. Good inning for Carlos Villanueva. A pair of strikeouts. The Orioles go down in order. Drive. He got a before sail over his head in right field. Blue Jays were shut out on just 3 hits yesterday by a very good Joe Saunders and a very competent bullpen. Davis, Rasmus, Encarnacion, top 3 in the order. Edwin is the DH tonight. Edwin on the 24th against Britton was 2 for 2. He singled and double. Also got hit by a pitch. He's the only guy that really could figure out Zach Britton. Britton held him to just 4 hits in his outing.
Here's Zach Britton, 4-1 with a 48 earned run average. Just 24 years old, coming off a great outing versus the Chicago White Sox. 8 strong innings, 1 earned run, and striking out a career-high 10 batters in that ball game. What a pickup to come up in July to throw into your starting rotation.
Take a look at the outfield defense for the Orioles. We mentioned McLouth in left field. Jones won a Gold Glove in 2009. Markakis is the reigning Gold Glove outfielder. He won his first last year. Hardy and Nino up the middle. Machado has stabilized third base. Reynolds has been terrific at first.
Boy, he certainly has. He made a play yesterday to help his third baseman to record the out over at first base. Just 5 errors now and 80 starts at first base, so it looks much more comfortable on that side of the diamond.
He's not the only guy in this ballpark that's done a great job at first base after moving from third. Edwin Encarnacion's been great at first as well. Rajai Davis counting his favor, 2-0. There's a low strike. If Britton gets that strike, he's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's where he is going to be living. That's John Farrell's, and somebody from the bench is letting him know that that ball was low. But you're right, he's a sinker ball pitcher, and if he gets that one, it's going to be tough to beat him.
3-1. Bounced off home plate. That's going to be a tough play for Hardy. Not in time. Rajai Davis, he smelled the base hit as soon as that ball hit off home plate, and he beats it out.
When Zach Britton is on, you're going to get a lot of ground ball out, so you anticipate it, but there's nothing that J.J. Hardy can do on that one. Rajai Davis runs too well. Watch this one right off the plate, and he knows he has a chance to get an infield hit. Hit the front part of that bag like he does and beats the throw.
Leadoff man's aboard for the Jays. Kobe Rasmus steps in. Britton does a pretty good job of shutting down the running game. The Orioles have caught 2 of the 3 base stealers while he's been on the mound. And his catcher for the season has thrown out 36%. Matt Wieters is the Gold Glove catcher for Baltimore. Bunted right back to the pitcher. Britton looks at second and forces the runner at second as Rasmus bunted it right back to the pitcher. Britton did a good job of getting an angle on that ball and getting his body in line to make the throw to second.
Yeah, and you take the speed off the bases. That's exactly what they were looking for right here. Understanding, trying to bunt the ball. Davis cannot get a good jump. He's got to make sure he sees that ball down, and Colby Rasmus is going to be charged with an at-bat.
Now, Britton took a long time before he heads back to the mound. I think Matt Wieters a little concerned right here. He's going out to the mound to check in with Britton. And Britton appeared to have a smile on his face, so whatever happened to him doesn't appear to be serious. But he was talking to the second baseman, Andino, after he made that throw. He'd gone all the way back to second base and took a long time to get to the mound. Nonetheless, he got the out at second. Good throw. Forces that lead runner. Now he'll deal with Edwin Encarnacion. We mentioned Edwin was 2 for 2 the last time he faced Britton. Edwin has been consistent all season long. 286 average, 37 homers. He's just 5 away from that 100 RBI plateau. Ball on a strike.
I asked Dwayne Murphy the other day, I said, where's the biggest improvement where Edwin Encarnacion has made this year? Not the numbers, everybody knows that. But where has he made his biggest strides? He said, understanding what pitchers are trying to do to him. He has really become a master at watching tape and figuring out what pitchers are trying to do to him, and then he'll sit on those pitches. He was telling me a story where they'll be changing pitchers and he'll run up and start watching video, and he'll have a good idea in his mind what that new pitcher is going to try and do to him.
Drives this ball toward right. Markakis sets up underneath it. He'll make the catch in front of the warning track. And Rasmus will return to first. 2 down.
Take a look at the scatter report for the Oriole pitcher, Zach Britton. Fastball, slider, changeup. He's got an excellent two-seam fastball with sinking action, about 88 to 92 miles an hour. He was voted the best sinker in the minor leagues in 2010. He's got a late-breaking slider he'll throw to lefties. and an improved changeup that he will throw to the right-handers. And his AAA pitching coach, Mike Griffin, says he's got great life on that fastball.
Adam Lynn takes a first pitch strike. Lynn knows what's at stake here in the month of September. Everybody wants to finish up on a high note. Obviously, it's been a disappointing year for the Blue Jays, but they can have some impact into the pennant race. And I think that's what you have to take out of this month. Be a spoiler. And nobody wants to be a spoiler in spring training, but now that's all you can do is play for pride and try to put your best foot forward and give the opponents your best game.
And they'll certainly have their chance in the month of September because of all the pennant players that they're going to have still left on their schedule. Tampa and Baltimore, the New York Yankees still have 7 big games with the Yankees.
You'd think the Blue Jays would love to knock off the Orioles, given the fact that the Orioles and the Blue Jays have been linked at the bottom of the AL East for so long. And now Baltimore is on a great run. They've won 75 games already this season. An off-speed pitch. Lynn's out in front.
Well, and when you're playing those pennant contenders also, here's the standings in the American League East, you got to throw out your best lineup. There's no chance to be looking at some AAA guys or looking at some pitchers that you think might help you next year. You got to put your A team out there.
And fights it off, and that'll go down the left side and reach the seats. Well, that's a great point, too, because, you know, you're going to play Tampa Bay, you're going to play the Yankees, you're going to play the Orioles, and you want to make sure that you put your best team on the field. I mean, obviously, these pennant contending teams have a lot to play for. And you have to put your best team on the field and give your best effort every night.
You know, when we see Boston or Seattle or Minnesota at the end of the season, that's where you might see some of the other young kids get a chance to get 4 at-bats. Or maybe a pitcher come in and start a game that Blue Jays might want to take a look at for next year. But not against these teams. It's not right, and it's really not fair to the other teams that are going for it.
Anthony Gose is back with the ball club after the Las Vegas season is over. Lynn swings at a breaking ball and strikes out. The first inning is complete. It's a scoreless game. Zach Britton strikes out Lynn to end the bottom of the first. With all the latest Blue Jays news and information by following the club on Twitter @BlueJays. Submit your question during tonight's game to @BlueJays, and your question could be selected as our Twitter fan question of the night. That young lady looks like she's ready to tweet and get the question to us, so everybody log on and send us your questions for tonight's Twitter fan question of the night. No score, top of the second inning. Adam Jones, he is the leader in RBIs. He has 68. And we point that out because the Orioles are having a phenomenal season, and nobody is really having a career year.
So you say, how do they do it?
Yeah, and it is truly a team effort. And Adam Jones says that it's a different guy every night. I guess the one guy you could say is having a career year is Jim Johnson, the closer. He's had a terrific season, and Pedro Strop, guy that pitches in front. The bullpen has been good.
Bullpen, they've been outstanding. It might be the best in the American League, 8th and 9th inning guys, but they only pitch in 40 games.
Changeup. At the end of the bat, Jones is retired. 1 down. Carlos Villanueva has let it be known that he wants to be a starter, wants to be considered a starter. He likes the opportunity. Last year, he made 11 starts and then had elbow problems, had forearm problems, put him on the DL early in August. But here are his numbers this season as a starter. He's got a better ERA. His opponent's average is higher, but that's natural given the fact he's going to face the hitters 3 times in a start. His whip is better. Strikeouts per 9, right about the same. But obviously, everybody wants to be a starter. I mean, that's where you earn your money. Take great example a couple of years ago. CC Sabathia and Francisco Rodriguez were free agents at the same time. Matt Wieters drives it into center field. Rasmus is there, and Wieters retired 2 outs. Chris Davis will step to the plate, 2 outs, and the last time Davis faced Villanueva, he had a career night.
3 home runs he would end up with. They tried pounding him inside early in that series. That didn't work. Then they tried to go away with a little something soft, and that didn't work. They said, okay, how about a fastball away? And that didn't work either. So I'm really anxious to see how they attack him here tonight.
Very carefully. They hit that 3rd home run off Steve Delabar on a fastball up and away and just flicked his wrist and knocked it out to the opposite field.
Well, one thing is for certain, when you got Chris Davis at the plate, they're going to play him to pull. 23 home runs for Davis. And the infield, you can see, shifted way over to the right.
There's a changeup. It's a ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1 to Chris Davis. Fastball up and away. What do you think is the best approach to pitch to Chris Davis? He's hit 7 home runs against the Blue Jays and hit well here at Rogers Center.
Walk him and pitch to the next guy.
Well, you took the easy way out.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to say, well, keep the ball away from him. But we saw in that last highlight how he took Steve Delabar the other way. He's got power to all the fields. I think you just have to keep the ball down and change speeds on him. And that's what they're going to do.
Big swing, and he fouls it up. Davis is just 26 years old. He started out his career with the Texas Rangers, came up first in 2008 and appeared in 80 games. He hit .285 with 17 home runs. They were pretty excited about the power potential, but then it was back and forth between Texas and the minor leagues.
At that time, you could really jam him with fastballs and pitch him up and in. Good pitch there.
I don't care how hot you are. That's a tough pitch to hit. Blas Diaz is getting a little bit wet forward from Chris Davis, but Villanueva paints the outside corner down and away. The fastball does it. 3rd strikeout of the night for Villanueva. Toronto hits a home run, you can win big. Audio home theater systems and big TVs like an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quadron. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. That's the same pitching matchup we had back in Baltimore on August 24th. Zach Britton and Carlos Villanueva. The Blue Jays really were stymied by Britton. They managed just 4 hits over 6 2/3. And he got off to a great start. Blue Jays scored a run in the second on an Encarnacion double and a Kelly Johnson RBI single.
He made pitches when he had to in that game. He used that good sinker. A little bit different than yesterday's pitcher who we saw for the Baltimore Orioles, Joe Saunders. Got a little bit more life to his pitches.
Yeah, they're both left-handed and they both lean on the sinker ball heavily, but Britton's got an explosive sinker. Saunders will make that ball move down in the zone, but Britton's kind of explodes down in the zone. Plus, he's got a harder breaking ball.
Yeah, he can pick up the strikeouts a little bit easier than Joe Saunders did. When you watch him start throwing the breaking ball, he struck out Adam Lind in the first inning with a very good breaking ball.
Britton's dealt with shoulder issues the last couple of years. Last year, he went on the DL late in August with shoulder problems, and this year, in spring training, he had shoulder problems again. He was placed on a disabled list, didn't come off the DL until June, and didn't make it to the big leagues until the 17th of July. But you made a great point about picking up Britton second half of the season. It's almost like making a trade.
Yeah, picking up a guy who's going to help you win ball games.
There's a base hit off the bat of Escobar into right field. Leadoff single here in the second.
You know, that has happened also for the Baltimore Orioles. Chris Tillman came up and has been pitching great ball since he's been put in the rotation. Britton at the time just couldn't get on top of that one. It's up where Escobar can handle it. That's a good piece of hitting right there. Take that ball the other way.
The Blue Jays with the leadoff man at first. Kelly Johnson, we mentioned, he had an RBI single against Zach Britton at Oriole Park. It's the first pitch strike. Just the second time that Johnson has faced Britton, the other being that last start. Now you can see Britton's got a little extra zip on that fastball. That's pretty good velocity when you can factor in that there's good movement and he's got that hard slider.
Yeah, tough to pick out both of those pitches. You got to look for one of them, I think, early in the count. There's a good hard slider right there. He's got very good life on that fastball. Pretty decent breaking ball.
It's just his third start against the Blue Jays, and certainly that ERA doesn't reflect how effective he was last time out. Strike 3. Fastball on the outside corner, and Johnson is down. Second strikeout of the game for Zach Britton.
Boy, that had a little juice on it right there from Britton. That might have been that cutter on the outside part of the play. Watch Wieters just hold it right there for Laz Diaz. That's a heck of a job of framing a pitch.
Little extra giddy up on that last pitch. Moises Sierra, the rookie right fielder. I think this is a good matchup for Sierra. Britton works down in the zone. Sierra seems to be a much better low ball hitter than up.
Something a little firm also, I think, for Sierra.
Bouncing ball toward third. Manny Machado throws on the run in time. Tell you what, Manny Machado made a heck of a play yesterday on a bunt by Yunel Escobar. He barehanded it and threw him out. He looks very comfortable at third base. He is a natural shortstop, but he's making his 24th start at third.
Yeah, he can field. You can see it right now. Very gifted young player, and he'll hit. eventually. But the game doesn't look too fast for him right now when you watch him play.
Jeff Mathis, Blue Jays catcher, his average is down to 207. Takes a rip at that first pitch. Mathis homered in that game that Britton started last time in Baltimore. He had a 2-run home run, albeit in the 9th inning, and it was off Matt Lindstrom. That made it a 6-4 ball game, but that's as close as the Blue Jays would get. Well, I like the way Britton pounds the strike zone. And why not? He's got a quality fastball with good movement. Oh, 0-2, Escobar at second. Britton strikes out Mathis. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. The Blue Jays get a base hit, but leave a base runner stranded at second. Through 2 innings, it's a scoreless game. Britton's got a little extra giddy up on that fastball. And we'd like to congratulate Christina Helps from Wyoming, Ontario for being selected tonight's Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday Fan of the Game. Great picture right here at Rogers Center. Christina and her friends. And if you'd like to be selected as a Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday Fan of the Game, please send us a picture and tell us why you should be selected. For more information, log on to BlueJays.com/fan of the game. How about that? They are peeling back the roof. It had been raining all afternoon, and the roof was closed all throughout batting practice, and looked like it was just going to rain right straight through the night, but the roof is being pushed back. If Mathis got a little foul tip on that first swing by Mark Reynolds. Reynolds had a rough day yesterday. Reynolds went 0 for 4 with a walk. He struck out 3 times. Broken bat. That'll sneak into center field, and he'll take it. Reynolds has not had a lot of success here at Rogers Center, and he knows that this has always been a tough park for him, so he'll take any kind of hit he can get right now.
Yeah, and he's coming off a big series against the Yankees when the Orioles were in New York. That time sawed off right there, and he's going to take that handle with him all the way to first base as a souvenir for that hit.
You can see Linda and Reynolds exchanging pleasantries over that hit. He said, boy, I'd like a boatload of those right now. Reynolds hitting 146 before this game in this ballpark. Just 7 for 48. Manny Machado, hot shot to third. Echeverria throws a strike to second, hot to first. What a double play. I tell you what, you can see some baseball instincts in Echeverria. He threw a seed right in the chest of the second baseman, Kelly Johnson.
He is just learning to play third base. He is in to protect against the bunt. He's got soft hands and great actions with his body. He can control it. And he has worked very hard asking the second baseman, where do you like that ball on double plays? He tells him right here, and he gets that spot to start that 5-4-3 double play.
Boy, that is so important for a second baseman turning a double play. To get that ball right there on the glove side, chest high, and he can go anywhere he wants to. If the runner's on him, he can back off the base. If he's not there, he can come across the bag. But boy, what a throw by Echeverria.
You know, and get the ball quickly so that runner can't get on top of you. That was probably the most impressive thing about that double play.
Robert Andino, the Orioles' second baseman, takes a strike. It's 2-1. Andino playing in his 78th game at second base, filling in for Brian Roberts, who's had another injury-plagued season. Roberts just completed a rehab portion of his hip surgery. He was in Vail, Colorado, had hip surgery. Stayed out there for a month and rehabbed, and now he is back to Sarasota to the Blue Jays to the Orioles spring training site. 2-2. Cut on and missed. Andino strikes out. So the Orioles are down in the third. Good double play turned behind Carlos Villanueva. It'll be Adeiny Echeverria. He broke up the perfect game yesterday with 2 outs in the 6th. And back to the top of the order, Rajay Davis, Colby Rasmus. Run in the 4th inning. A lucky winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and an Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. Well, we got a good pitchers duel going on right now. It's a scoreless game headed into the bottom of the 3rd. Zach Britton and Carlos Villanueva. Villanueva got a great double play turned behind him, started by Adeiny Echeverria, and Echeverria will lead things off against Britton here in the 3rd. Echeverria had a single against Britton back in Baltimore, and he takes one through there, and he has another single, a leadoff single for the Blue Jays' 3rd baseman.
Getting better and better as you watch him day in and day out, and I think the biggest thing is the game is slowing down for him. When he came up to the big leagues, I think he was freaked out by how quick the game is, but right now he's getting accustomed to that. He has sped his game up, and he is really starting to show that he can hit.
Got a 4-game hit streak now. He's getting better and better with each game. You're right about that. Back to the top of the order, Rajai Davis had an infield single his first time up. Bunts it straight back over the screen. Blue Jay senior advisor Mel Didier has seen Echeverria since day one. And he's always felt like Echeverria is one of those guys that's going to be better each time he gets promoted. Like he rises to the challenge of better talent.
Yeah, and he figures out the game with each level that he went up, and his numbers bear that out. You look at his numbers in the minor leagues. He started off slowly in A-ball, got better when it was Double-A, same thing, got better as the year went on. Started off slowly this year in Las Vegas in Triple-A, his first action there, and then got better and was just named the MVP of their team with their season ending.
Pretty impressive that you can have a young shortstop like that come up. Just exactly what Manny Machado is doing for the Orioles. Very athletic players that can adapt. Not too concerned about the lack of experience. Just letting their physical abilities help them through the positional change. Another tapper out in front of home. Wieters thought about going to second, but he goes to first and retires Rajai Davis. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Now Tampa Bay won the first game of that series. Chris Jimenez, a little used catcher, just recalled from the minor leagues, had 2 RBIs, including the game winner in that game last night.
Squeaked that ball through the right side. James Shields beat CC Sabathia.
Colby Rasmus takes a breaking ball outside. There are going to be some battles in the AL East down the stretch. Tampa Bay, Baltimore, New York, they all play one another. Going to be some great baseball. Another off-speed pitch, and Rasmus is even in the count, ball and strike. Fastball strike. It's 1-2. Baltimore will finish up this series tomorrow night, and then they will go home and welcome in the Yankees for a 4-game series. Just off the outside corner. John Farrell will join us as he always does on Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday from the dugout after this half inning. Get his impressions of this game early on. Here's the 2-2. Popped in the air. Second baseman Robert Andino makes the catch. Rasmus is retired. So Edwin Encarnacion to the plate. It's a scoreless ball game. It'll be interesting to watch how Zach Britton pitches to Encarnacion.
Maybe they won't even pitch to him. Maybe they'll take the bat right out of his hands. And I think they are.
Now Buck Showalter not going to even hesitate. You got a young pitcher on the mound. Why put it in his hands? Say pitch around and pitch carefully to him. If you want bat, just put him on. And that's what they'll do. They'll force the hand of Adam Lynn. Rattle his cage a little bit with the intentional walk.
I'm sure that he could take this personally right here and say, okay, you want to walk the guy ahead of me? I'll be ready for it. But you're right with young pitchers. You know, you want to pitch around him. You're just asking for a mistake to be made. So just take that right out of his mind, right out of the decision making, right out of his head.
Rick Adair and Buck Showalter sitting on the bench. Adair's the pitching coach, and this is a perfect move. give the young pitcher a new at bat, set him up lefty on lefty, and allow him to pitch. Don't ask him to pitch like a veteran and pitch carefully. Now, mind you, if it's Jason Hamels or somebody else that you're confident he can throw pitches where he wants to, then it's a different story. So now it's lefty on lefty for Britton. Lynn struck out his first time up. That ended the first. First pitch strike for Encarnacion. That's the 9th time he's been given an intentional pass. And Lynn would love to be able to cash in right here. Good look at that fastball. Watched it sail down out of the zone.
Those first 2 pitches, you know, if you're paying attention to the Baltimore Warriors, you can see that Adam Lynn is waiting for a breaking ball. Both of those fastballs beat him early in the count. Looks like he's looking for something off speed.
And Wieters comes right back with a fastball. Now he's got to shift gears. Protect the plate with 2 strikes.
It's the value of having a catcher and a pitcher working together on the same page and reading what that batter's trying to do to him.
And there's a breaking ball, and he reached for it and pops it behind short. J.J. Hardy makes the play, so the intentional pass pays off. The Blue Jays strand a pair. It's scoreless after 3. And John, we commented on Echeverria's play at third base to start the double play, but he seems to be more comfortable each day with every at bat. What do you like about him at the plate lately?
You know, Buck, what he showed us when he first came up was a balanced approach, and I think the more at bats he gets, facing this quality of pitching night in and night out, we're seeing him address some pitches much more consistently. We still see him staying in the middle of the field. He's not a pull-oriented approach where the bat might be in and out of the strike zone, so he's got decent plate coverage on the outer half.
Thanks, partner. You stole my question. I was going to ask the manager. John, Carlos Villanueva looks very sharp tonight. What do you see him?
Well, particularly when he's been in a couple of fastball counts, he's located in good pitchers' locations. And once again, you know, he disrupts hitters' timings with the off-speed pitches that he has. And so far through the first 3, he's got this game under control.
John, thanks for your time.
Okay, guys.
That's John Farrell, as is the case every Tuesday night. We get to visit with John from the dugout. Carlos Villanueva works to Nick Markakis and gets ahead. You know, I think what John said about Carlos is very true. He's unpredictable. And I think that's the one thing that hitters always worry about. They never are able to pick up on a pattern.
Manage the ball game, manage the lineup, get yourself deep into the game. And I just love watching him work with Jeff Mathis. I talked to Mathis after that game against the Rays, and I said, I noticed you guys changed up a little bit. You used to change up early in the count against Tampa.
Ball is popped into right field. Moises Sierra, almost in his tracks, makes the catch.
And he said that that's something that they both recognized that the Rays were doing. They were sitting on some of the fastballs early in the count, so they thought they'd go soft early. Use that change up early in the count speed up their bats a little bit and then finish them off with the fastball or slider.
Yeah, and Villanueva is exceptional in that regard. Not all starters can read bats. They're not really sure where the ball is in location. Their delivery might take them off the line and they won't really see where the ball is. And Villanueva stays in line. He stays in his lanes very effectively, so he can see what the batter's trying to do and what part of the plate he's trying to cover. Broken bat, little liner to short. Escobar won't take any chances, and he throws across the infield. Third base umpire Mike Everett was looking at Escobar and
still looking at him.
He initially waved his hands to indicate no catch, but Escobar didn't even hesitate, threw across the diamond just in case.
From where we're sitting, it looks like a catch. And he's got his leather underneath that ball, but you're right. You can't wait around and wait for the umpire to make a call. You just finish it off right there. Record the out.
Nate McLeod. McLeod hit a ball hard to right field, and Sierra had to jump to make a catch. But that was the third out of the first inning. Whoops, that one got away. Ball on the strike.
So let me ask you, did you give him a line out to the shortstop or a ground out to the shortstop?
I'm still waiting on our stats man, Mr. Scott Carson, to indicate to me what he thought that was. I'm going to say it's a 6-3 putout because the umpire didn't call him out on the line drive. But you never want to question the stats man.
No.
The king of all stats, Scott Carson, always gets it right.
You're just asking for problems.
Popped up on the right side of the infield. Lind over near the first base bag makes the catch, and indeed it's a 6-3 ground out and a pop up to the first baseman. That's how the fourth inning ends. Tweeting Tuesday fan question of the game is, hey Buck and Pat, what do you guys feel will be the biggest change we see coming in the 2013 season? Pat, I'll let you start.
I'll start with that one. I think, and I think Alex Anthopoulos gave us a little bit of a hint to that when he was telling reporters the other day that the only starters who are locked into next year are Ricky Romero and Brandon Morrow. With all the injuries that they've had in the starting rotation, I think that's where you're going to see the biggest change.
Well, you're certainly not going to see Drew Hutchison or Kyle Drabek, and they were two guys that were starting early on. Henderson Alvarez still yet to be determined where he might best fit. Jay Happ looks like he should be a legitimate candidate for that starting rotation, given the way he was pitched. But the Blue Jays, I think that's the area where they need the biggest improvement. And you don't have to look any further than this division. The Tampa Bay Rays are the perfect example of how you get back to contention. You do it by pitching, and more pitching. And I don't care how many bats you have. And, you know, Sparky Anderson went through this early in Detroit when he had Cecil Fielder and Rob Deere and Mickey Tevelin and all those great home run hitters. Until they got to the point where they could pitch, it was a moot point.
They say that to us all the time, that they still need more starting pitchers. And I'm not talking about 5. I'm talking about 8 or 9 starters. You have to have that type of depth because so many things happen over the course of a 162-game schedule that you need that type of depth. Before the bullpen was rebuilt, and I thought they did an outstanding job of rebuilding the bullpen. I thought Alex Anthopoulos' moves out there, that is where the biggest improvement should come. But with the trades and some of the players that they have brought up from the minor leagues, that is looking like a strength heading into 2013.
Well, it is, if you bring back Brandon Lyon. If Darren Oliver decides to pitch another year. Blue Jays have an option on his contract, and Britton throws that nasty sinker and strikes out Escobar. That's the first out, bottom of the 4th.
4th strikeout of the night for Zach Britton. Again, watch the movement that he's got down with that sinker. Voted the best in the minor leagues in 2010. You can see why right there, right over the bat of Escobar.
But the bullpen has really come together very effectively, and Darren Oliver, I don't know that anybody's really sure except Oliver what his thoughts are about next year. As I mentioned, Blue Jays hold an option on his contract. Boy, he has been great.
Yeah.
And Brandon Lyon, I don't know why you'd have any question about his value to this ball club. He's averaging almost 2 strikeouts per inning since he's come here, and he's a tremendous fit in this bullpen.
I'd sign him before the season was over, but I don't know what the market is for. The contract that he's coming off was signed as a closer, wasn't it?
No, he was coming off a good year in Detroit. He was a closer, you're right, but he did sign as a closer. I'll take that back. He signed a 3-year, $15 million contract with Houston. So that's the starting.
So that's what I mean, where I'm not sure where the market is with him because he's not closing here. Not with Casey Janssen here.
Or with the possibility of Sergio Santos.
There's Sergio Santos.
Kelly Johnson goes after a high pitch. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Britton here in the 4th. His 5th strikeout.
I would love to have him. Just his influence with the young pitchers, his ability. He's been outstanding, you know, since he has been traded over here at fastball by Johnson. So whatever that market is, I think they'll do their best to try and sign him.
Well, and the thing is, Brandon Lyon is a good teammate. He makes everybody in the bullpen better. He's a veteran. He gives you that same presence that Darren Oliver gives you.
And the coaches talk about the calmness of the game when he is in it, that he'll pitch in a tough environment against a tough team on the road and not get rattled.
You know who's the calmest when Brandon Lyon pitches? The manager. And that's always a good thing because Brandon Lyon controls the situation. Ball on the strikes here and drives it toward the gap, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Sierra is headed for second. He'll stop there with a 2-out double. There's that matchup I was looking for. Something down out over the plate.
Yes, and a firm pitch also from Britton. He's looking like a low ball hitter. Watch how he gets himself into position and then drops the head of the bat. And he's got some juice in that bat also. This one splits the outfielders for extra bases, showing glimpses of why he might be a pretty good big league hitter.
He's made some adjustments, and we have seen a desire to improve in the outfield. He's come out early and worked today. He was out about 2:30, 3 o'clock taking extra work.
It's always good when a coach does not have to go find a young player to do some extra work. When that young player comes to the coaches and asks him, hey, hit me some fly balls, hit me some of this, do some of that, make me a better ball player.
Jeff Mathis bounces the ball toward short. J.J. Hardy takes his time and ends the inning. Moises Sierra gets a 2-out double, but Britton strands him on. So we are still scoreless after 4 here at Rogers Center. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Is shutting out the Blue Jays on 4 hits, and Joe Saunders pitched yesterday. He shut them out totally. They didn't have a base runner until the 6th inning.
Both left-handed. Saunders doesn't throw as hard as Britton, but he was using his changeup and he was using his fastball a little bit higher in the strike zone. Tonight against Britton, it's more of a downward fastball, the sinker, that is working for him tonight.
The umbrellas are out because it's raining. The roof is pushed back, and you can see the fans knew that the weather coming to Rogers Center was rainy, so they brought their umbrellas, but they didn't expect to have to use them in the game.
I didn't think use it indoors. Saw this one coming. As soon as they peeled it back, it looked like there were a lot of rain clouds around.
Adam Jones takes a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. He grounded the shortstop his first time up. Jason Hamill, sitting on the end of the dugout bench, will start on Thursday against the Yankees in his return to the active roster. He threw a bullpen session here earlier this afternoon and proclaimed himself set to go. Boy, that'll be another big boost for this Oriole pitching staff.
He has thrown a couple of really good games against the Blue Jays this year. Dominant types of ball games. He's on the disabled list. He's come off. He has said that he is fine and he'll get his first shot at the Yankees.
Jones drives it down the right side, and that's trouble. It's a fair ball and bounces into the seat out of play. A ground rule double for Adam Jones, his 31st double of the season. And that's how the Orioles start the 5th.
Try to slip a fastball by him. Try to sneak it by him, but Adam Jones is saying not too quickly here. Shoots it down the right field line, bounces into the stands. And a good start for the Orioles.
Villanueva and Mathis talking things over with Jones at second base. That's the first Oriole base runner to reach second, so they want to make sure they have their signals straight. Misting a little bit here at Rogers Center, and that's important because the moisture on this artificial surface will make that ball skip. That ball's going to skip all the way down the right side in foul territory. Obviously, this playing surface doesn't get wet, but it's wet right now, and That's going to be interesting. Should there be a line drive hit in one of these outfielders, it's going to skip off that artificial surface. Matt Wieters fried out to center field his first time up. Scoreless ball game. And now the roof is starting to creep back toward the closed position.
They didn't open it all the way up. They just pulled it back, waiting to see if they were going to be able to play this game outdoors. Didn't bring that other section around that tucks underneath. So that was there. That section on the left was there. That never moved, so they just have to close it.
So Mathis and Villanueva had their signals crossed a bit. Villanueva called out the catcher and said, come on out, let's talk about it.
Well, he has a plan of what he wants to do with Wieters here. Wieters is going to be trying to pull the ball to the right side to get to Jones. Jones to third base. Villanueva has an idea.
Hit high into the air and right, not that deep. Sierra calling for it. Jones tagging up. I don't think he's going to run. And now they got a play on. Oh! Sierra threw the ball right back to second. Had Escobar swiped toward the base runner, they would have doubled off Jones.
Yeah, it became a tag play because he tagged up, bluffed like he was going to third, drew the throw, but watch Escobar thinking that it's a force out. Catches it and just puts his foot on the bag thinking he's out, but he tagged up.
Yeah, there's where he tags up. So now you have to tag Jones if the throw comes back. Escobar steps on the bag, but Jones had already tagged the base.
They had a shot at him also. What you're doing as a runner there, you're just trying to draw a throw. And maybe he airmails it a little bit.
For Chris Davis, who struck out looking his first time up. Well, it's interesting. That was such a good throw by Sierra. And as we mentioned, Sierra was out early again, practicing his throwing. The last time he did that, he ended the game with a strike to home plate.
What a ball game. To end that ball game with a throw. He came out and made about 7 or 10 throws. And it's interesting that throw, that the day he came out to throw, Torey Lovullo was telling me today it wasn't very good. Sierra made about 2 out of the 10 throws good that day he threw out the runner at the plate.
Just missed the inside corner. Watch the mechanics and the setup of Sierra in right.
You got to get yourself into position with your lower half and then keep your feet underneath you. Keep moving towards that base. Plant that right foot and then throw it. That was pretty good right there.
Torey Lovullo and Brian Butterfield are constantly monitoring the defense to make sure the players are in the right position. 3-1. And why not? Pitch carefully to Chris Davis. He burned the Blue Jays with 3 home runs back in Baltimore.
So the Orioles take the bat right out of Edwin Encarnacion's hand. Didn't give him a chance to drive in a run.
Mark Reynolds is on deck. Good idea. He threw him a changeup and will walk Davis. Puts runners at first and second, 1 out. But Davis has worn out the Blue Jays all season long, and you got to take your chances with Mark Reynolds. Reynolds single, but he shattered his bat. Literally, it broke in half, and he was able to fight it off and flare the ball into center. So now Villanueva's got to make a pitch. Pitched around the dangerous Chris Davis to work to Mark Reynolds. And Reynolds, just like Lind in the bottom of the third, wants to make that strategy backfire. Encarnacion was given the intentional pass so the Orioles could pitch to Lind, and Lind was retired to end the third. High High drive to left. Rajay Davis back at the track, at the wall. Home run, Mark Reynolds. A 3-run home run. He hits it into the Blue Jays bullpen. And Mark Reynolds is 2 for 2. And he homers in a ballpark where he's always had trouble.
Again, coming off a big series in New York where he had 2 multi-home run games at Yankee Stadium. Blue Jays handled him in yesterday's game, but right here, singled his first time up. And Villanueva missed his spot. That was sheer strength right there of Reynolds, just muscling that ball to left field.
17th homer of the season, career home run number 175, and that's his first home run in 15 games in this ballpark.
Rajay thinks he has a beat on it, but he just goes up and it just squeaks over the fence for a 3-run home run.
Manny Machado hit into a double play his first time up. Reynolds has gotten some big hits for this ball club. You mentioned his great series in New York. Off the end of the bat, and that'll reach the seats. So the Orioles break through a 3-run home run by Mark Reynolds.
And we were talking earlier in this game about the Orioles, 1-300 hitter, and their RBI leader's got 68. And the sum of the parts make the whole pretty daggone good. And every night it's a little different character who is going to carry the torch and win a game for Buck Showalter's team tonight. Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, and they have massaged their roster all season long. Machado hits it again to the third baseman. Echeverria, strong arm, throws him out. 2 down. But Mark Reynolds has moved from third base to first base, tightened up the infield defense over at first, and has gotten hot here in the second half of the season with the bat.
Isn't that how home run hitters are, though? They get into those streaks where everything they hit, they're able to elevate.
Well, all you have to do is hit one a game. Just get one good swing, one good pitch every 2 or 3 days, and you're going to be a hero. Number 9 hitter, Robert Andino. 0-2. Pull that fastball down our way off the plate. 14th home run allowed by Villanueva has given the Orioles a 3-0 lead. The drive toward left. Davis is back right on the track, gets there and makes the catch. And Dino gave it a ride, but not far enough. But the Orioles get a 3-run home run off the bat of Mark Reynolds to take a 3-0 lead. those big comfy green chairs in the TV Comfort Zone, our guests representing Inspire. Inspire is a national charity that is fundamentally transforming Indigenous education in Canada, helping First Nation, Inuit, and Métis youth succeed. Welcome to Rogers Center. I hope you brought your umbrella because it's raining. That's right, it is raining at Rogers Center, and the roof is still halfway open. Danny Echeverria. He singled his first time up. Got as far as second base, but that was it. Blue Jays stranded a pair. They have left 5 on base already against Zach Britton.
Somebody
Britton
on
now has a 3-0 lead.
every inning for the Blue Jays. They just haven't been able to come up with that big hit. Talked about that a little bit yesterday. That you got to start stringing the hits together.
Oh, Tapper up the first base line, and Reynolds couldn't get to it in time. He was hustling. He knew that ball had some spin. It was headed toward foul territory. But when he picked it up, it was foul.
Yeah, he also knew that that was going to be an easy out. Ball off the end of the bat by Echeverria. It started off fair. Plenty of room, but with some English on it, some spin on it, it was diving towards the first base line. Reynolds came in sprinting, trying to get that out.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 5th. Ground ball to short. J.J. Hardy in time. 1 down. Zach Britton will keep his infielders engaged. He throws a lot of balls on the ground, and he throws a lot of strikes. That's probably more important than the fact that he throws a lot of ground balls, because every time he winds up, infielders have to be on their toes.
Yeah, we've been talking about that sinker. It was taught to him by Scott McGregor, who was his pitching coach when he was at Aberdeen. He uses a curveball grip and still throws the sinker with that grip, and it really drives the ball down in the strike zone. And with that, you're going to get a lot of ground ball outs.
Rajay Davis is 1 for 2. Now, Scott McGregor was a terrific pitcher for the Orioles in their heyday when they were the benchmark for pitching, and he has been involved in developing minor league pitchers. He's currently traveling with the ball club. He's here with the Orioles, not in uniform, but he's out, throws BP before the game. But it's a reminder that all 2-seam fastballs aren't the same.
They aren't the same. That's right. You got to get out there and you got to experiment a little bit with different grips and different finger pressure. But the one thing you can see from Britton, he's got a pretty good downer.
Davis didn't think that was a strike. This is a new umpiring crew. Last night's crew has moved on. This crew was in Kansas City last night. Kind of unusual that you get a different crew in the middle of a series. Davis lines it towards center, but Jones got a good read, makes the catch. Line drive, caught about chest high. We mentioned Zach Britton didn't start with the big league club. He didn't come up to the Orioles until the 17th of July in his last 3 starts. He's been terrific.
Those 3 wins at Detroit versus that very good Tiger team. He beat the Toronto Blue Jays at Baltimore, and then he really handcuffed the White Sox at home, which is probably his best start of the year.
He had a career high 10 strikeouts, and as a reward for that great game, he got optioned back to the minors. Thanks a lot for coming, Zach, and we're going to send you back to the minor leagues. But that was all an administrative situation, as he was going to be off the roster until the roster's expanded. Well, Erasmus is late on a couple of pitches, and he's behind 0-2.
And that is why they just put him on the roster today, because the AAA team that he was optioned down to, their season is over, so he can come back up.
He could not be added to the roster until his minor league team's season was over.
Same reason why Anthony goes for the Blue Jays to not get here until today. He had to wait after his option until his AAA team's season was over.
Big two-hopper to the second baseman, Robert Andino, and Zach Britton, after his team staked him to a 3-0 lead, retires the Blue Jays in order. Sportsnet 590 The Fan for their 20th anniversary. And you can see the gentleman in the green shirt is Paul Beeson of the Blue Jays as they cut the cake to launch the All Sports Radio. 20 years ago, Bob McCowan is still involved and done a great job as the host for a long time. And Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Jerry Howarth and Alan Ashby doing the baseball broadcast. They've been linked to this ball club for a bunch of years, and tonight is the 20th anniversary of the launching of that all sports radio station. Congratulations.
Bob McCowan didn't look like he aged in that one. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The picture was taken.
And he does a great job.
Yeah.
He is well versed in all sports and controversial, opinionated, and well informed. He does a good job. Nick Markakis scoops that breaking ball and shoots it into right field. Leadoff man's aboard. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, there's the great Tom Cheek's name, the late Tom Cheek, in 43-06. That was the number of consecutive radio broadcasts he had. And he started the radio broadcast here for the Blue Jays in day one, 1977. And he was such a big part of that Sportsnet 590's radio broadcast. He was the guy that got me involved in broadcasting. So if you want to blame anybody, blame the late Tom Cheek. He was a good pal and a great mentor, and somebody that we sorely miss, that's for sure. J.J. Hardy with Markakis at first. But you know, baseball for so many years was only heard on the radio, and it's such a big part of the baseball world. And fans, they associate their team with radio voices, and you in Cincinnati, I know.
Marty.
And Joe Nuxall.
Yeah. Sure. And the Blue Jays have a very rich history of announcers, both television and radio. Tony Kubek was here.
Yeah, Tony Kubek was terrific to really introduce the baseball fans of Canada to Blue Jays baseball. Don Chevrier, the late Don Chevrier, was such a great voice, and he too a well-rounded broadcaster that could do anything. Fergie Oliver. Nobody was more enthusiastic about the Blue Jays than Fergie Oliver. He loved the Blue Jays, and he was involved in a broadcast for a long time.
Did not Early Wynn be the first? Was he the first radio?
He was a color guy with Tom Cheek.
The color guy.
On.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tony Kubek in early wind. You talk about going out and getting some of the best available. They did that. J.J. Hardy at the plate. Markakis at first. DeMarlo Hale going through a series of signs over at third base. Outside, it's 2-2. But of course, everybody remembers Tom Cheek's call of the Joe Carter home run. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run. But that's what the radio has done for us over the years, has created such great memories. 2-2. On the ground, past Echeverria down the left field line. Markakis is around second. He's headed for third. And he will get there as J.J. Hardy rips a double inside the bag at third for Hardy. That's his 26th double of the season.
We talked about extra base pop from a shortstop position. The Orioles certainly have that in J.J. Hardy. They try to go down and away, and the ball leaks out over the plate. It would have been a miraculous play by Echeverria, but it just gets by him. Hooks that ball by Echeverria, and it's 2 more bags for Hardy.
And J.J. Hardy's looking up into the sky with the roof open and watching it rain, and now the rain has gotten pretty intense. And the way it looks right now, I got to believe that that roof is stuck open.
Yeah.
I think it's raining hard enough for them to close the roof, and I just don't think they can get it shut. Second and third. Nate McLeod pops it up. Well, you mentioned J.J. Hardy's pop. When he was with Milwaukee, he had 26 home runs in 2007, 24 in 2008. And then he went to Milwaukee in 2010. He had 6 home runs. And then when he got here with the Orioles, Jim Presley, the hitting coach, said, "What happened to your power?" And they got it back quickly. This is driven into center and deep. That will score Markakis, who's tagging at third. Hardy tags at second. The throw to third is not in time. Both runners move up. Markakis comes in to score. It's 4-0 Orioles.
They come up with a single to lead off the inning. They set the inning up then with the double. Now you got to cash him in, and McLeod does that and gets that runner over to third base. So the Orioles doing all the little things that you need to do to score runs.
And you can see Villanueva looking up, but now the rain is pretty intense. Remember, we mentioned this artificial surface gets a little quick when that field gets wet. Infield has to come in and try to cut off the runner at the plate. Adam Jones up and in, ducks away from a high fastball.
The infield doesn't have to come all the way in now because you mentioned that quick surface. Now that's a little bit wet. You don't have to come all the way in.
Four nothing Orioles. Right back to that same spot. It's 2-0. Jones hit a double down the right field line his last time up. He came in to score the first run of the ball game. Left-hander Aaron Loop is loosening up. Looks like Jason Frazier has just started to throw beside him. They keep the ball right inside on Jones. The double he hit last time was down and away. He stayed with it and stroked it down the right side.
He is up there swinging. Got a big strike zone. If you make pitches, you can get them out. But if you make mistakes, that's where he hurts you.
Pulled foul, and Villanueva is back in the count at 2-2. We have seen this before in the past where it has rained momentarily, but they've always been able to close the roof. That's why it makes me believe that there's something wrong with the roof. Mechanically, they can't get it closed. 2-2, 1 out. Hardy at third.
That ball was a good one to hit right there. Refresh my memory. Didn't it happen the first season that they had this ballpark when they moved into it?
There was one game where they left about a foot opening and it rained right straight across home plate.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of, against the Brewers.
Yeah, it rained right straight across home plate. That was the only opening. You see the grounds crew, and they don't have the normal equipment to deal with this, including tarps and all of that. Jones pops it up. Lind over, but it'll be way back into the seats, out of play. Catch it with an umbrella.
It looks like they've got that diamond drive to put on the dirt area because it's getting a little moist. And once this inning is over, they're going to go out there and resurface the dirt areas.
Two balls, two strikes. A run in this inning. It's 4-0. Orioles. Down and in with the changeup. Big strikeout for Villanueva. Jones goes down swinging.
He's a productive hitter, but again, if you make your pitches, he's going to go up there hacking. It's very tough to walk Adam Jones, so you execute your pitches, and you can get him out. Villanueva got away with a couple, opened the strike zone that were fouled back, and then finishes him off with a great changeup.
You can see the mound is becoming quite a mess as Villanueva is having trouble cleaning off his spikes to get traction. Ball in the dirt. Matt Wieters, the catcher, has flied out twice. In ballparks that don't have a dome, oftentimes they'll have a brush behind the rubber that pitchers will clean their spikes on. Now the changeup, and Wieters is out in front. You see home plate, Dan. You can see the raindrops falling from that overhead camera. And the home plate area where the batters dig in is clay. And they pack it with clay to keep the integrity of those batters boxes, but it is still a situation where that home plate gets kind of tacky. Good pitch, catches the inside corner. Top of the 6th inning. Mark Reynolds had a 3-run home run in the 5th. Nate McLeod with a sacrifice fly here in the 6th. Fly ball into shallow right. Kelly Johnson out. Sierra calls him off and makes the catch. Wieters is retired. But the Orioles add a run. Sac fly off the bat of Nate McLeod. Carlos Villanueva, and the Jays are down 4-0. The grounds crew's got to go to work. Tuesday. And this is just a reminder that you can follow the Blue Jays on Twitter. Many of the players are very active on Twitter, and maybe tonight you can check in with JP Arencibia and see how he did down in Florida. JP playing in the Florida State playoff games. They are playing over in Lakeland this evening, and as we check in on JP Arencibia, he's 0 for 2. David Cooper's also playing in that ball game. He is 1 for 2 playing first base, and you can see Tim Wilkie, the crew chief of this umpiring crew, explaining the situation to Buck Showalter. Hey, Buck, it's raining. But now Zach Britton will have the aid of those tongue depressors out there, and that's the old standard of how you clean your spikes in a muddy situation. You get the trainer to tape together some of those tongue depressors and clean out your spikes. We mentioned the Florida State North Division Championship. The best of 3 tonight begins with Game 1. Dunedin is at Lakeland. JP Arencibia is catching and batting second in the Dunedin lineup. David Cooper is batting third and playing first base, and Lakeland leads the ball game 1-0, a first inning home run for the Tigers affiliate. The Midwest League quarterfinals, best of 3, will start Wednesday, game number 1. Lansing at Fort Wayne, and the Northwest League already underway. Best of 3 Monday. Vancouver beat Everett 1-0. And the story in that game, Roberto Osuna, a 17-year-old right-hander out of Mexico, once again had a dominant start.
3 innings, I believe he had 6 strikeouts as the Vancouver Canadians take a 1-0 lead in that best of 3 series. Good for the A-ball teams. Shows you the strength of the draft the last couple of years.
Well, I think it's great, too, that the Blue Jays went back to Vancouver and developed that relationship, and they played a beautiful ballpark, Nat Bailey Stadium. Taylor Cole will pitch in Game 2, and he's had a great run. He's a college pitcher out of Brigham Young University. He went 6-0, won the ERA title for the Vancouver Canadians, and he'll start Game 2. They could wrap it up quickly.
Yeah, and I believe Everett won that division. And the Vancouver team got in as, quote, a wild card, I believe. And Taylor Cole's coming off a 1-hitter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pitched very well. And he has thrown well his last 3 starts. Last night, they had about 5,000 people at Nat Bailey Stadium to watch that playoff game. And good for you to follow that great team, young players. And last year you got to see Justin Nicolino there. And a lot of the top prospects have gone through Vancouver. So an opportunity to see more good baseball. So we are in a rain situation where the grounds crew has come out. They've attended to both home plate and the pitcher's mound. And the umbrellas came into play tonight. The roof is still open, and they have tried to get it closed. And a lot of the fans, obviously, the inclement weather in the area, fans brought their umbrellas, but they never expected to use them during the game.
Things you don't see every day at Rogers Center.
So we are set for the bottom of the 6th. The Orioles have taken a 4-0 lead. Zach Britton will work to Encarnacion, Lind, and Escobar, middle of the order. There goes the first pitch breaking ball. Bounced way out in front of home, and Britton just kicking at that landing area on the mound. They've added some of the drying agent, trying to smooth out the damp spots on the pitching mound. Changeup misses downstairs. It's 2-1 to Encarnacion. Well, that pitch just dives down and away, and Britton is back in a 2-2 count.
For years, we've been hearing about some of the Baltimore young pitchers that they have coming up through the ranks, and each one of them we've seen over the years. Varying degrees of success. Jake Arrieta was their opening day starter. He's down in AAA, and there's talk of him bringing him up and pitching him out of the bullpen now. Chris Tillman has been outstanding. And now we get a chance to look at this young starter, Zach Britton. Point being that you can have young pitchers and they can make their way to the big leagues, but there's still that adjustment period here in the major leagues.
Here he makes a good pitch and drops that breaking ball on the outside corner. That's the 6th strikeout for Britton. And that was a late breaking ball that catches the outside corner.
When you stay out there, you want to pitch a long time in the big leagues. And that point I'm making about young pitchers and the adjustment period, I think we've seen that also with Toronto, with the young starters that we have seen this year alone.
Lynn drives it toward right. Markakis is on the run. He'll get there and make the catch just in front of the warning track. 2 quick outs for Zach Britton here in the 6th. Take a look at the Orioles starting rotation over the last 10 games. And you mentioned Chris Tillman and Zach Britton. They've done a good job. Yin Chen has done a nice job. He's got 12 wins. He leads the pack, but over those last 10 games, the starters have gone 6-2. Very good ERA, whip under 1. And they pitched deep. 6 2/3 innings, and that's exactly what you want. Now Joe Saunders is added to that list. He had a great start yesterday, his 2nd start for the Orioles.
And they probably get their best starter back starting on Thursday.
Well, and one thing we should mention about Jason Hamels, his problem wasn't arm related at all. He had knee surgery. So he is confident that his knee is healthy and ready to go, and he can have quick innings. He pounds the zone down with that sinking fastball. Now in the background you can hear that the fire alarm has gone off. Been an unusual night at Rogers Center. The roof is still not completely closed and it's still raining. So we are not sure the nature of the problem, but there is something amiss with the roof for sure. Two balls, 2 strikes to Yunel Escobar. Escobar singled his first time up. He struck out in the 4th. Big 2 hopper to the shortstop. Hardy throws out Escobar. The inning is over. Another 1-2-3 inning for Zach Britton. 7th inning coming up. Orioles lead at 4-0. Fans, a reminder, Thursday night football kicks off September 13th when the Chicago Bears travel to Lambeau Field in Green Bay to take on the Packers. It's the NFL on Sportsnet East Ontario, West and Pacific. September 13th, Thursday night football. The NFL is back. Chris Davis goes after the first pitch and singles through the infield into right. A leadoff single for Chris Davis.
It's funny. First time up, they had that shift on. And he ended up striking out. That time they didn't shift, and he got a single through the right side.
Yeah, they have always played him to shift, and that time they chose not to.
Yeah, they crossed him up and got a base hit. He's hitting about 400 against the Blue Jays this year, so they got to try something different.
Mark Reynolds had a 3-run home run back in the 5th. Counted for the first 3 Orioles runs. He has 2 hits tonight. Reynolds is very aware that he has not hit well in this ballpark. As we mentioned, coming into this game, he was 7 for 48 with no home runs in 14 games.
And we put an end to that last time.
Out in front of this pitch.
They wanted to go down and away. Watch Jeff Mathis, the catcher, set up outside. It leaks out over the plate, and that's a classic example of pitcher missing his spot, and then instead of popping it up or just flying out, he gets enough of it to get it over the fence for 3 quick runs.
Villanueva's ahead 0-2. Davis at first. Outside. Again, the Blue Jays haven't been able to solve the Orioles pitching. Orioles shut them out on 3 hits yesterday. They're shutting them out on 4 hits this evening. Cut on and missed. Reynolds strikes out. That's the first out of the 7th. With 1 out and 1 on, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Cleveland has given the Tigers fits all season long, and Justin Masterton, he can beat anybody on a given night. Isn't it interesting how fortunes turn dramatically? Detroit swept the White Sox, and now they're having their problems with the Indians.
It's supposed to be easier, but the Indians have given them fits.
This time of the year, you can't take anybody for granted, and Minnesota's got a 5-3 lead over the White Sox in the 2nd. And that's what we mean about teams in the second half of the league playing the spoiler role. There's a drive toward the gap, and that's going to split the outfielders and go all the way to the wall. Chris Davis is headed toward third, and they're going to stop him as Colby Erasmus threw it on the money to the cutoff man, Yunel Escobar.
Well, he got over there quickly, and the ball bounced back to him. He played it perfectly. And with just 1 out, you do not want to run into an out. Play it a little bit safer. Ball down, and Machado, you can see how much power he has. Watch Rasmus play it perfectly, get it quickly to your shortstop with the best arm. And Chris Davis, he's thinking about trying to score from first base, but doesn't want to run into out, so they hold him up.
Davis never worried about the throw. He was watching his third base coach and stopped immediately when Hale threw up the stop sign. Now the infield is in. Second and third, 1 out. Robert Andino, the second baseman. Fly ball to left, and this should score a run. Davis tagging Rajay Davis makes the catch. He's going to third. It's offline, and Machado moves up. Davis comes in to score. The second sacrifice fly for the Orioles tonight. Andino delivers this time to left.
And another runner tags up and gets to third base. This is what the Orioles do right here. They are taking advantage of when they do get hits, getting them in. Good situational hitting that time by Andino to pick up another run.
And John Farrell has come out of the dugout. Nick Markakis, a left-handed bat, is the batter, and it'll be Aaron Loup, the rookie, coming out of the pen with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Orioles are up 5-0. Presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Aaron Loup into the ball game. 2 outs, man at third. Nick Markakis, the leadoff man. First pitch, strike.
Orioles got their first look at Aaron Loup when Toronto was in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago. Only faced one batter. That was Chris Davis, and he gave up the base hit. So, oh no! Now he's going to call for a
there's
ball.
a run. Sure enough, Aaron Loup started and then stopped after he'd gotten the sign, and Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire. And you can see John Farrell on the dugout bench thinking, and what else is going to go wrong?
Let's watch him once again. He gets the sign from Jeff Mathis. Breaking ball starts. Started and then called.
And now Markakis lines one down the left side, and he's going to breeze into second with a double. So the balk sends Manny Machado home. That made it a 6-0 game. And then Markakis gets his second hit of the night down the left field line. 27th double of the season. We mentioned it earlier, but Markakis has really flourished in the leadoff spot.
Got a very good on-base percentage. It's good. They're going to pitch to him. You'll see some pitches to hit with Hardy and Jones. And those big boppers behind him. He's hitting about 350 now since they moved him into that leadoff spot.
Hardy up the middle. Markakis coming around third. Here's the throw from Rasmus. It's right on time and skips over Mathis's glove. There's that wet turf. The ball skipped off that wet turf and sailed right over the catcher's glove. Rasmus did a good job of charging the ball, making a strong throw. Hardy picks up an RBI.
You're right on, too. When that turf gets a little wet, it's going to shoot that ball. And this is something that you just can't practice. It hits and boom, like a Super Ball, just takes off on Jeff Mathis. Can't get the glove on it. And Markakis slides in with the 7th run for the Orioles.
J.J. Hardy is 57th RBI of the season. Well, if you ever had any doubts about the Orioles and thinking, well, they're going to fade, they're not fading, folks. They got a balanced attack. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and right now they've gotten some pretty good young pitching from Chris Tillman, Zach Britton, and they're going to get Jason Hamill back on Thursday. Tillman is a little bit of a concern. He is not with the club. He's back in Baltimore. He had an MRI today on a barking elbow. He was taken out of his start in New York, and Buck Showalter, contrary to what Tillman said, is concerned. He's going to wait until he sees the results of the MRI. But Tillman really gave them a shot in the arm when he came up from the minor leagues and pitched so well as a starter.
He has pitched great baseball for him and really starting to come into his own as a young player. A lot of the coaches were raving about what he has done this year.
Way outside.
That MRI was scheduled for Monday, but because of the holiday, they had to push it back to today. So they still haven't gotten word on what the MRI said.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Nate McLeod. He gets jammed. That's a little pop up, but it's going to fall safely in foul territory. McLeod had a sac fly in the 6th. Last night he hit 7th in the Orioles lineup. Tonight he is 3rd. The appeal to 3rd denied by Mike Everett. Then he checked his swing in time. So now it's a full count with 2 outs. Lind is going to play behind Hardy at first. So he'll have a big lead and a big jump on this pitch. There goes Hardy. Driven into left. Rajay Davis comes in and the inning is over, but the Orioles add 3 more runs. They've expanded their lead. 7-0. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. On Facebook today. There are 5 ways to win this year, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Aquos. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. Well, the Orioles have jumped all over the Blue Jays. They've scored 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and 3 more in the 7th. They've taken a 7-0 lead. The Orioles have shut out the Blue Jays for 14 innings.
They had, coming into this game, 13 consecutive shutout innings.
In New York.
Started in New York, 9 yesterday, 6 more today. So 19 in a row shutout innings by Baltimore pitching.
And that'll keep you in every ball game.
Yeah.
Blue Jays mustered just 3 hits in yesterday's game. They have a total of 4 here this evening. Full count to Kelly Johnson. Johnson struck out twice against Britton. Britton has 6 strikeouts. Kelly Johnson takes the lead-off walk. A man on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Well, Alex Cobb pitching that game for the Rays. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. And Tampa Bay left here with a lot of confidence. They knew that they were going to be able to match wits and match pitching with the Yankees, and the Orioles feel the same way.
Yeah. Talking to Joe Madden that last day in here, he said, I have no doubts in my mind that we can catch the Yankees. But then he said, but we've got to catch the Orioles first. And I thought that was very revealing. The respect that he has for Buck Showalter's team.
How about the balance of power shifting a little bit in the AL East? Of course, the Red Sox, we all know where they are. And the Yankees, they look vulnerable. Hiroki Kuroda, CC Sabathia. Kuroda has been as consistent, maybe more consistent than Sabathia. He's pitched well lately. CC Sabathia doesn't look right since coming off the disabled list.
Yeah, the start that we saw in New York, he just didn't look like he had that same, extra gear when he needed it in the ball game.
Sierra hits one off the end of the bat, and Dino from second throws him out. Kelly Johnson moves to second. So Sierra is 1 for 3, grounded out twice and double. Now Jeff Mathis, the catcher. This time of the year, when you're having a down season, it's a real gut check for everybody. Playing these contending teams, and you'd like to put up a fight.
Yeah, you got to come to the ballpark and have something to play for. And right now, you got to play for a chance to knock off some of these teams, get them out of the playoffs.
Ball on the strike to Mathis.
I had plenty of practice with that with the Cleveland Indians when we had some really tough teams. We lose 100 games. Aaron O'Day warming up for Buck Showalter's team. We lose 100 every year, but September was all about trying to knock the other team off.
And that's how you can gain respect and a measure of pride in a disappointing season. You have the Baltimore team, and in your heyday, Baltimore was pretty good. And Milwaukee Brewers, the Tigers are always powerhouses.
What do you think it did for the psyche of the Baltimore Orioles, that last series that knocked the Boston Red Sox out last year? Do you think that might have kick-started this year?
Oh, absolutely. Robert Andino got the big hit off Papelbon to knock the Red Sox out of their postseason berth.
And they acted like they won the
World Series.
Series. And I think that really can do something for your team if you play like that in the month of September.
I remember when I was in Milwaukee and I got a base hit to win a game late in the year against one of the contending teams, and it clinched third place for the Brewers for the first time in a number of years. But that was part of the stepping stone for the following year. Well, that's a good sinking fastball down and away. Great late life from Zach Britton, who racks up another strikeout. That's 7 now for Britton.
You know, watching that ball go down, it almost is like a spitball. You ever throw with a guy who had a great spitball, how he gets on top of it and that ball goes straight down? That's what that looks like.
The spitball is illegal, Pat. I would have never caught one of those.
I'm not saying.
But that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, you go and play toss on the sidelines with a guy and have him load one up, and break your wrist.
Number 9 hitter, Danny Echeverria. Down and away. Boy, another thing that's beneficial for the Orioles in Zach Britton's case is the fact he hasn't pitched all season. So when most pitchers making their 26, 27 start of the season start to wear down, that's not the case with Zach Britton. And you can see it in his last 3 starts. He's been dominant. He's won 3 straight. And he's in line for his 4th straight win here tonight.
Yeah, he's getting stronger. While other starters this time of the year are starting to wear down. Just his 9th start of the season.
Late breaking ball in there for a strike. I would imagine this will probably be his last inning. They had a good run for their bullpen in New York, and I'm sure Buck Showalter will say, you know what, that's a strong 7 innings. We got the bullpen to take you the rest of the way.
Yeah, and he's at a season high right now in pitchers. He was at 107. This will be number 108.
And another strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Britton. That's how the Orioles end the 7th. Good breaking ball, and Echeverria strikes out. 8 strikeouts for Zach Britton. The Orioles a commanding lead into the 7th. It's 7-0 Orioles. Rogers customers have more ways to catch Sportsnet's live coverage of the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Rainy night in Toronto, and the roof at Rogers Center was slow closing. The field got kind of wet. Fans had their umbrellas, and it was a good thing. They put them to good use tonight. Top of the 8th inning, Orioles lead at 7-0. Trying to make it 2 in a row against the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center. Adam Jones, Matt Wieters, and Chris Davis for the Birds. Aaron Loup came into the ball game with 2 outs in the top half of the 7th. He committed a balk that allowed Manny Machado to score from third, and then gave up a double to Nick Markakis and an RBI single to J.J. Hardy before he got out of the inning. Right back over the mound into center. Adam Jones has his second hit of the night. Carlos Villanueva was the starter, and he goes 6 2/3, gives up 7 hits, and a big blow in the game was the 3-run home run by Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, started strong. He struck out the first 2 batters, got another one in the second, another one in the 3rd inning. Tied the side in order in the 4th, and then those 3 big runs. That Reynolds home run, the big blow there.
Rick Adair talking to Zach Britton. It appears as though Britton's night is over. And Adair, the pitching coach, debriefing a little bit, if you will, after 7 strong innings from his young left-hander. That's what I'm talking about. Matt Wieters gets a base hit. One hops it to Rajai Davis. First hit for Wieters tonight.
Want a better tasting burger? Then step up to the plate for a sirloin Uncle Burger at A&W. Made with 5 ounces of juicy sirloin, it's a taste of burger bliss.
Bruce Walt, the pitching coach, is out to talk to Aaron Loup. Loup has not had too many outings like this where they have had multiple hits against him. He's had a pretty good rookie season, and it's been a little bit of a disappointing outing for him tonight, including a balk that forced home a run, and a couple of hits that led to another run.
The 185 average against this year. He's been outstanding against both lefties and the righties. Before this outing, he had gone 10 innings scoreless.
It's Chad Beck, who has just rejoined the Blue Jays this evening and called back up from Las Vegas after the Las Vegas season has come to an end. The only other additions the Blue Jays anticipate, J.P. Arancibia and David Cooper from Dunedin. They're both rehabbing. Dunedin lost that first game of the Florida State playoffs tonight. They lost 1-0 on a first inning home run by the Lakeland Flying Tigers. J.P. Arancibia 0 for 4. Cooper had 1 hit.
Well, they get the next 2 games at home. Maybe they can win both of those games and move on.
Now, if J.P. Arancibia continues to progress on his rehab, 2 more games and then he'll move on to Boston on Friday.
Just starting to catch also. That's important for him to get his game legs in shape to catch.
3-1 to Chris Davis. Davis shoots one down the left side. That'll get down for a base hit. Jones is around third. He's going to score. The throw to third is late. Wieters moves up, and Davis ends up at second. 8-0 Orioles.
Just not his night tonight. He's given up now 5 hits to the 6 batters that he has faced. Chris Davis loves hitting in this ballpark and against the Blue Jays. And that will take John Farrell to the mound and make a call to the bullpen.
Aaron Loup doesn't get a batter out here in the 8th. Farrell will take the baseball from him, and it'll be Chad Beck coming out of Blue Jays bullpen. Second and third, nobody out. The Orioles with an 8-0 lead. The Orioles tomorrow night, and Morrow's really thrown the ball around. 2 starts since his return from the disabled list. He's been impressive. The Blue Jays on Sportsnet. It all starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. That's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn on the pregame show, 3:30 Pacific Time. Brandon Morrow anxious to get another kick at the can tomorrow night and take on this red-hot Orioles ball club. Chad Beck into the ball game. Beck making his 8th appearance of the season for the Blue Jays. He throws a pitch upstairs, and it's a check swing by Mark Reynolds. Reynolds has gone 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run. Biggest swing of the bat tonight. And right back with the same pitch. This time Reynolds couldn't lay off. Chad Beck last pitched for the Blue Jays on the 25th of July. That was right here against the Oakland Athletics. He made back-to-back appearances against Oakland.
He last pitched yesterday. Picked up his 18th save for the Las Vegas team. Through an inning and a third. Gave up just 1 hit. Your classic sinker slider type of pitcher.
There's a base hit to right. Wieters will come in to score. Reynolds has another RBI. He just stroked that ball into right field. It's 4 straight hits for the Orioles here in the 8th. Still nobody out. Manny Machado hit a double back in the 7th inning. He scored the 6th run of the game for the Orioles on a balk by Aaron Luke. That was in the 7th inning. Down the right side, but foul. Right now, these Orioles are swinging the bats with a lot of confidence. Doesn't make any difference who's pitching.
The other day, we saw the Tampa Bay Rays. Everything they swung out found a hole. Picked up 18 hits in that game against the Blue Jays. They were getting check swings that were falling in, infield hits, balls, bloopers down the line. And we're seeing the same thing now.
There's another base hit and another run. Chris Davis comes in to score. It's a 10-0 Orioles lead. This is the third 3-run inning for the Orioles, and there are still no outs. Machado picks up the RBI.
This was a 0-0 game heading into the 5th inning between these two teams, and just like that.
Out. Infield fly is in order. Andino is out. Then makes the catch. So first out of the inning. We'll go back to the middle of July. The Yankees had a stranglehold on the AL East. They had a 10-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles. But oh, what a different picture it is today.
Look at that as we sit here on September the 4th. New York just has a 1-game lead over Baltimore, just 2.5 over the Tampa Bay Rays. And both Baltimore and Tampa, they're hard charging. They're coming hard after the Yankees.
Tampa Bay playing with a lot of confidence. They have a 5-2 lead over the Yankees, bottom of the 6th in St. Petersburg. Nick Markakis shoots one down the left side. That's a fair ball. It bounces into the seats. A ground rule double. Reynolds will come in to score. And the route is on. 4 runs this inning. Still just 1 out.
Nick Markakis' 3rd consecutive inning where he has had a base hit. Singled into 6th, doubled into 7th, and now down the line. He thinks that ball is going to go foul, but watch it. Slice just inside the fair. And fair down the left field line. A double and another RBI.
J.J. Hardy takes one outside. Ball and a strike to the Orioles shortstop. Hardy's had 2 hits. He's 2 for 4. He's also driven in a run. He's the 8th man to bat here in the 8th inning. Chad Beck, 2-1 to J.J. Hardy. There's a strike, 2-2. The Orioles have scored 11 runs. They're 1 off their season high. They scored 12 against the Pirates during interleague play. Hardy gets jammed on that fastball. They have 15 hits tonight. That too is 1 off their season high. Had 16 in that same game against the Pirates.
And it's one of those nights where, again, it was 0-0 heading into the 5th inning, and then the ball started to fall in, and you get into a groove as a hitting team.
Chad Beck misses it, and J.J. Hardy will reach. The wheels have fallen off here in the 8th. An error on the pitcher, and the bases are loaded.
11-0. That time he just can't get down and finish it off.
So it's a bat-around inning for the Orioles. Bases are loaded. Machado at third, Markakis at second, Hardy at first, Nate McLouth, number 3 hitter. Tampa Bay Rays had a season-high 18 hits on Sunday. The Orioles are 1 off of their season high. John Russell, the bench coach, and Buck Showalter are probably talking about who they can get out of this game to get them off their feet.
Yeah, you save an inning here, an inning there, it'll do wonders for you. And I'm sure we'll see those wholesale changes like we did when the Rays had that 18-hit game on this homestand. Your everyday players, Adam Jones and Nick Markakis and J.J. Hardy, they've got plenty of reinforcements on the bench.
There's another base hit. Machado comes in. Markakis stops at third. Now the Orioles now have tied their season high with runs and hits. 12 runs on 16 hits. And now Chad Beck has retired just 1 man since coming into the game, and he committed an error to extend the inning, and Brandon Lyon starts to loosen up. Now Nick Markakis has been lifted in favor of the pinch runner Lou Ford, so Markakis is out of the game. A 3-for-5 game for Markakis. He scored a couple and drove in a run. Adam Jones will bat for a second time this inning. He started it off with a single. Broken bat. Echeverria goes to second for 1. Back to first. What a double play. And the inning comes to an end. Echeverria starting an inning-ending double play. The Orioles score 5 in the top of the 8th. They lead it 12-0. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Blue Jay Kevin Gregg making his 39th appearance of the season. Zach Britton goes 7 strong innings, and now the bullpen will try to close it out for the Orioles.
Kevin Gregg, we've seen him, sinker, slider, he'll split that ball a little bit with a split grip. He'll use it as a changeup. That's how he has averaged 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. His whip very high at 1.6, so a chance to get in the game. Some other defensive changes for the Orioles.
Xavier Avery comes off the bench. He takes over in left field for Nate McLeod. And McLeod moves into center, taking Adam Jones out of the game. So Jones is out. Lou Ford took over for Markakis as a pinch runner, and Anthony Gose will come on as a pinch hitter for Rajay Davis. Gose just recalled and just joining the team this evening from Las Vegas. Pops this into shallow left. Avery comes in, makes the catch. Gose is retired. One down in the 8th. Kobe Rasmus takes the first pitch strike. Rasmus has gone 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 4 hits. They've had 7 hits against the Orioles in this series.
When the Orioles were struggling for the last decade or so, it's been pitching. They have struggled on the mound. Not this year. They have finally figured that out. They've built a strong bullpen. They've got good starting pitching. And just like that, they're in a pennant race.
Well, it's one thing, too, that we have seen played out. Tampa Bay's done it for years, is Baltimore turned their bullpen over dramatically. And that has paid off dividends. Rasmus strikes out to throw to first, and he's retired. 2 outs. Zach Britton in line for his 4th straight win. Was dominant here tonight. 7 innings. Just 4 hits, no runs. He walked 2 and struck out 8, and 10 strikeouts in his last start against the White Sox. He gets 8 more here tonight.
He's good. 2 walks, one of them intentional. That was to Edwin Encarnacion back in the 3rd inning. But you watch him strong.
Edwin Encarnacion goes after the first pitch and grounds out. The inning is over just like that. Kevin Gregg retires the Blue Jays on 7 pitches, bottom of the 8th. Our game when the Angels are in Oakland to take on the Athletics on Sportsnet West, and the Red Sox are in Seattle to go up against the Mariners on Sportsnet Pacific. Rogers Sportsnet, your home for postseason baseball, including the 2012 World Series. Boston and Seattle, it'll be John Lester and Blake Beavan. And in the Angel game, Zach Greinke goes to the mound for Mike Scioscia against Jared Parker for the Athletics. Angels snapped the 9-game win streak of the Athletics last night.
With an exclamation point, showing off some power by the Angels. Brandon Lyon, Toronto's 4th pitcher of the night. Carlos Villanueva pitched into the 7th inning. 1/3 of an inning from Loop, an inning by Beck, and now Lyon to finish it off. Anthony Gose stays in the ballgame and will play left field.
Taylor Teagard gets a pinch hit here. He is batting for the catcher, Matt Wieters. Brandon Lyon trying to save face a little bit and get some work in and have a quick inning. Orioles have scored 12 runs on 16 hits. A good breaking ball. Lyon has really pitched well since joining the Blue Jays. He's a free agent at the end of this season. He would certainly be a welcome addition to this bullpen if they could manage to re-sign him and keep him here. Yeah. He's a stabilizer.
Yeah.
He stabilizes games. He stabilizes the bullpen. He stabilizes the personality. He's a rock-solid individual, lots of character, and an experienced pitcher.
You know what else he has done? He has been a very good influence on some of the young pitchers that the Blue Jays have. He'll watch film with some of the young pitchers and break it down and tell them some of the things that they have.
1 out now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak. Well, Chris Davis has had another big night. He's scored 3 runs. He has a couple of hits. He's 2 for 3 overall and driven in a run. Had an RBI double in a 5-run 8th inning. He has another hit right over the shift. Boy, he loves hitting against the Blue Jays.
Boy, there's something about it. They've tried different ways to get him out, and none of them are working. They tried pounding him inside. They tried to go soft away, and he just keeps hitting. This time they did have the shift on, and he crosses that up with a solid single into right field. That's how you stay back on an off-speed pitch right there.
So with Davis at first and 1 out, Wilson Betemit will come off the bench. The pinch hitter will bat for Mark Reynolds. Reynolds had a 4 RBI night, a 3-run home run and an RBI single. Two and 0. Fly ball to left. Anthony goes back. He's on the warning track. He's there, makes the catch. 2 down. Now Manny Machado, the rookie third baseman. Machado got off to a rough start. He hit into a double play in the 3rd inning and grounded out in the 5th, but since then he has doubled and singled and scored twice. Machado has also driven in a run. Two and 0. Nick Markakis 3 consecutive innings with hits, the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Scored 2 runs, back-to-back doubles to end his night. Manny Machado rips it to left. Machado's had a 3-hit game.
Blue Jays are going to have to deal with him for a long time because he looks like he's here to stay in the big leagues. A young player, just 20 years old. He had that double you were talking about. He also tagged up and moved to third base, scored on the box, single to right field, and now rips one into left field. They're going to have to figure out how to pitch this kid.
Number 9 hitter, Robert Andino. Andino doesn't have a hit tonight. He's 0 for 3, but he had a sac fly RBI in the 7th. Every starter but Andino had a hit tonight.
That's a bad feeling, isn't it?
Way to go, everybody but Robert. That's what they'll say in that locker room, obviously.
And it seems like you're hitting every other inning. You're just hoping for a base hit to make your night. Join the hit parade.
Ball is hit into center field, but Rasmus should make the catch. He does. The inning is over. Andino's retired. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It's all Orioles. Baseball, visit our MLB Mashup blog on sportsnet.ca featuring Shine Abidi and Mike Cormack. Bottom of the 9th inning in a tough game for the Blue Jays. The Baltimore Orioles broke it wide open in the top of the 5th. A 3-run home run off the bat of Mark Reynolds, and that began the downhill slide for the Jays.
Zach Phillips just called up today. Will come into the game. He's only been in 1 game this year for his second stint with the Baltimore Orioles. He was one of the team's final cuts this spring. Had a very good spring, but just didn't make the roster because of that very strong bullpen. Went down to AAA, got 7 saves in 54 innings. He says, I'm throwing strikes. When I keep everything down, I'm going to be fine. Chance to get some work as soon as he was called up.
Yorvit Torrealba will get an at-bat, batting for Adam Lynn. It's the first pitch strike from Phillips. Torrealba, combination between the Rangers and Blue Jays. He's hit .244. He has a home run since coming to the Jays. Game in New York against the Yankees. Taylor Teagarden is the catcher taking over on a pinch hit for Matt Wieters, just behind the plate. Just outside, it's 2-2. Zach Phillips just adding some depth to this bullpen from the left side. Brian Madison and Randy Wolf are both starters, and they have both pitched well out of the bullpen in limited appearances. Wolf gave a good outing in New York when Chris Tillman had to leave due to an injury. Randy Wolf came in and really picked up the slack.
They needed some lefties out of the pen. They were working with Brian Madison, converted starter, as their only lefty out of the bullpen. Now you've got Wolf and Phillips.
Torrealba strikes out. That's the first out, bottom of the ninth.
Phillips has one of those short arm deliveries like we saw last night from A.J. Happ, and the ball gets on you. That ball cut across to the inside part of the plate as he picks up his first strikeout. He is actually better against right-handed batters this season in the minor leagues. Almost 100 points better against right-handed batters.
Yunel Escobar, the shortstop, hits it hard, but right to second base. That's Ryan Flaherty, who's come on defensively to take over. Well, Flaherty takes the hot shot. That's the second out of the inning. Blue Jays are down to their final out. Phillips is the third Oriole pitcher. Zach Britton, the starter, had 7 strong innings, allowed just 4 hits over his 7 innings. Kevin Gregg, a 1-2-3 8th inning, and now Phillips on to close it out. Zach Phillips anxious to have a good inning here. The last time he pitched, the only appearance he had this season was on the 8th of May. He gave up Josh Hamilton's 3rd home run of a 4-home-run night. He's quickly ahead 0-2. Orioles are playing with a lot of confidence. 12 runs on 18 hits tonight. They won 4-0 last night on 9 hits. And Buck Showalter has them focused on the game at hand. They're not looking ahead to any schedule, any series. They're literally playing it one game at a time, and that's working.
Yeah, you hear that all the time. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to go out and do it, and they're doing it right now. They are just a strike away from their 2nd consecutive shutout against the Blue Jays. Trying to run that scoreless streak to 22 innings.
And right now down in St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay leads the Yankees 5-2 top of the 8th, and if that score holds up, the Orioles will be tied with the Yankees, and the Rays will be a game and a half back, jamming up the top of the AL East. Here's the 1-2. Johnson stays alive. Brandon Morrow will go to the mound tomorrow, anxious to cool off this red-hot Orioles ball club. It'll be Miguel Gonzalez, the right-hander for Baltimore, against Brandon Morrow. Miguel Gonzalez, 6-3. He and Chen both have pitched very well. Chen has the most wins on the Orioles staff with 12.
We got a chance to see Gonzalez earlier this year when he came out of the bullpen. He's got a pretty good arm.
Outside. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson refuses to go quietly.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Just keep battling them.
Ground ball. Flaherty from deep second throws out Johnson. And the game is over. The Orioles have taken the first two of this series tonight in dramatic fashion. 12-0 as they post a season high 18 hits against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, good game early on. Villanueva was on his game, and Zach Britton matched him pitch for pitch. But then the offense for the Orioles exploding in between the 5th and 8th inning for those 12 runs. And Blue Jays are going to have to get it back together tomorrow, but they got their ace going.
They sure do. Brandon Morrow will try to stop this squid. Stay tuned. Eastern Ontario, you'll be joined by Connected West and Pacific. More baseball coming right up. We'll see you tomorrow night.